Good morning! Welcome to this episode of Little Piece of Heart. Today I'm going to show you how to make a great go-to low-carb breakfast, the frittata. It's an amazing thing because there's no crust, so it's all no carb. Today I'm going to make a Mexican style one. Come over here and I'll show you some of the ingredients I'm going to use. We have some chopped onion here and just one small clove of garlic. I don't want to make this overly garlicky because it is a breakfast. We're going to use a little bit of butter just to put in the pan at first. We're going to use 1 can of diced tomatoes, including green chilies. Also going to use some jarred jalapeno slices, the not hot version. Then over here we have some greens. Today I'm going to be using some kale, just the kale leaves. I took out the thick stem in the middle, so it's just those soft leaves. You could certainly substitute arugula or even just a green mix that you can find at the store. I'm also going to use some breakfast sausage here. I already cooked it. I just got done cooking it, so it's still warm. I just put it in a bowl here just until we're ready to use it again. Now I have 2 different kinds of cheeses here that I'm going to use. Typical cheddar cheese, which you would normally put in any kind of Mexican dish, but I'm also going to do some pepper jack because that's what we have for the jalapenos, so I thought that would be fun to use in here too. Feel free to use whatever kind of cheese you like, whether it be all cheddar, white cheddar, yellow cheddar, whatever. It doesn't matter. And then lastly, what's going to bring everything together is our eggs. So we'll come back to this in just a minute. But first, I want to start our skillet. Actually, before I even do that, I did preheat the oven to 425 because that's what we're going to be baking everything at. So here I want to go about medium-high heat. And first off, I'm going to let my skillet warm up. I'm going to add in about a tablespoon of butter. Put that right in there. Okay. So while that melts, put the butter off to the side. We are going to move it around a little bit and just get our pan coated on the bottom. Great, our butter's melted and it's ready for our onions and our garlic. So we're just going to put that right in. Finely chopped onion, 1 small clove of garlic. Sounds like a good start to me. I don't like to use a lot of garlic like I said, but this is a little bit more savory of a breakfast because we are adding in, sausage and some of the jalapenos. So I thought the garlic would be a nice addition. We're going to stir this around for a few minutes just until the vegetables soften and become translucent. I think this smell alone might wake up Jason. Onions and garlic sauteing in butter. Is there anything better than that? Maybe, but right now I can't think of anything. Okay, so to this, I'm going to add in the jar of tomatoes and green chilies. But what I did first is I made sure to get out as much of the water as I could. So I really drained this good and I pushed down on it to try to get all the water out. So it's really going to be pretty chunky, just not really wet at all. Add that in. And the main purpose of this is to just warm these veggies through. We want to warm up the tomato. We want to warm up the green chili. We want to kind of get everything incorporated with the onions and garlic. Oh, this looks so good already. Look how colorful it is. Just with a few simple ingredients. Alright, so I'm going to put that on a thin layer, and then I'm going to just let that all warm through. Now that the tomatoes and the green chilies are warmed through, I'm going to add in my jalapenos. These are from a jar. If the little juice comes in, it's fine. That'll just flavor it even more. That pickling liquid is so yummy. Okay, so same as the tomatoes, we just want to warm those jalapenos up just to get everything to be kind of the same temperature. And that was about 15 slices of jalapenos. But add more or less, or none at all, depending on how spicy you like things. I use, like I said, I like to use the jarred jalapenos that are tamed. You'll see in some of my other recipes, that's the kind that I use. I just feel like then you get the taste and the tang from the jalapeno, the jarred jalapeno, but you don't get an overly amount of spice. I like spicy, but I like to control the amount of spice. And with jalapenos, you just never know. Sometimes you can get a really spicy one, and sometimes they're quite mild. Great. That is all warmed up. Next, I'm going to add in my kale, or your greens, whatever you're using. Like I said, arugula, spinach, kale, a mixture. Sometimes you can buy like power mixtures. Oh, found a stem. This is what I don't want. I like to take these out. Sometimes I miss them though. So these are going to wilt down pretty quickly, actually. Just want to keep moving them around just until they wilt. And this is a great way also to get some greens into your breakfast. because kale is so good for you. So is spinach. You know, arugula is great too, that peppery bite. But it's a great way to just, you know, kind of get some more superfoods into your breakfast. At this point, since the kale is just about started to wilt, it's not totally wilted yet, I'm going to add in my breakfast sausage. This is a little over half a pound. That's just how my store packages it. So we're going to mix all of this together. Get everything nice and incorporated. Now you're seeing a lot of ingredients here. I'm going to be using a 9-inch pie pan. And all of these ingredients will make such a chunky, great frittata. It's not going to be overly eggy. It's going to have a lot of filling in it, and that's exactly how Jason and I like ours. We don't like it to be too, you know, too dense with egg. Perfect. Now that everything is combined, you can see all these beautiful colors. Oh my gosh, the green, the red, more green, and then the brown from the sausage. It really is pretty. So now what I want to do is I'm going to add in my yellow cheddar cheese just for another pop of color. And this is going to melt in. The other cheese I'm actually going to put on top. For now, we just want to get this cheddar cheese incorporated. And it's not a ton of cheese. It's just enough to kind of, you know, get it all going. You could add in more cheese if you want. You could add in no cheese. The cheese is just, you know, just an after effect. But I feel like it just goes with, when I think of Mexican, I think of tacos and cheese and burritos and all of that. So this is all those flavors put into one. Now, for a little secret tip that I like to do right at the end before we assemble the frittata, add in some of my homemade taco seasoning. This stuff is amazing. I usually make it by the jarful. I'm getting a little low, as you can see. But there's cumin in here, there's chili powder, garlic, onion. Oh, so warming. And I made it at home. I know exactly what's in it. There's no preservatives in here. And it's low carb because it's all just spices from my spice cabinet. You can find this recipe on my blog. Go check it out. So for now, I'm going to add in just a couple sprinklings of the taco seasoning. Now we don't want to add too much, only because this is a breakfast. We just want to add enough just to make it so that we can get some of the spices on that sausage mixture. Okay, so I'm going to let that sit in the pan really quick while I tell you about the frittata mix. This is a 9-inch pie plate. I've already sprayed it with non-cooking spray. It's very important to spray it because then your frittata won't stick and it'll actually come out really easy. You'll wish you, if you'd missed this step, you'll wish you didn't because it's just a hassle to have to deal with it otherwise. Now, I have 7 eggs in here. I whipped them up with a pinch or 2 of salt and a pinch or 2 of pepper. And I actually put in also 2 tablespoons of heavy cream. You could also use half and half, whichever one you have. This recipe is really versatile. It's whatever grains you have. It's whatever you have for the cream, whatever cheese you have. That's the best part about cooking low carb is you can kind of tailor things. Once you know the basic recipe, you can really tailor it to whatever you want it to be. So what I'm going to do, put the mixture, which isn't wet at all because we drained those tomatoes, and I also drained the fat off of the sausage. So there's really not a lot. Put it here. So we're going to just put our filling right in the middle. We'll evenly distribute it in a second. Okay. All right. Look at that steam. I wish you guys could smell this. It smells like a taco, but it's breakfast, so it's even better. Okay. Now I'm going to take my whisk out. And I'm going to add in my eggs and just pour them right around. Pour them right in there. Okay. Great. Now what I'm going to do is using my spatula, I'm just going to move everything around just like this because I want to make sure that the filling for the eggs, gets all underneath that sausage since we put that in there first. This looks great. Oh, perfect. Lastly, we're going to take our pepper jack cheese and I'm going to sprinkle it right on top. All right, let's get that all on there. Add more or less cheese, add no cheese at all. Like I said, it's totally up to you. Totally customizable. We have all our cheese on here, so we're going to pop it into a 425-degree oven for about 25 minutes. Then we're gonna let it sit for 5 minutes just to have all the flavors and the whole frittata cool down a little bit. Then we're gonna slice into it. And don't miss this because I'm gonna show you what I like to top on this. Low carb, of course. Meet you back in a few. So it's been 30 minutes. Our frittata was in the oven for 25 and then I let it sit for 5 minutes. This allows everything to kind of settle and mellow out. How gorgeous does that frittata look? No carbs, people. This is what I'm talking about. Now I'm gonna show you how I like to serve this. First off, I'm gonna cut a piece. And because I greased that pan, watch how easy this frittata piece comes out. Put it up a little bit. Look at that. Look at that steam. Oh, you can smell all of the individual flavors of this. Before I plate it down, I just want to show you how I like to do it. I like to take some low-carb taco sauce. There's a lot of brands out there. Just check the labels, and I like to make a little pool on the bottom here. There we go. Just like that. Maybe add a little bit more. About like maybe a tablespoon or two. There we go. That's going to be the bed for the frittata slice. Now, if you don't like to use taco sauce, you can always go to my old trusty Cholula. This stuff is great. There's no carbs in this. Taco sauce might have 1 or 2, but it depends what kind of flavors you want. This is going to add a little bit more spice, which I don't really want right now because it's breakfast. So for this breakfast especially, I'm just going to stick with the taco sauce. We're going to put our frittata slice right on top of there. Oh, looks so good already. Then what I'm going to do is do a dollop of sour cream. And I know this might sound weird because it's breakfast, but I'm telling you, you're gonna want that creamy component. Go on top of that, and the sour cream is gonna kind of get a little bit warm because the frittata is warm, and then you're gonna see that it's gonna melt over the sides. I love avocado, and I think it's a great superfood, and it's something great that you can add to your breakfast just to give it a couple more, you know, healthy notes. So we're gonna put, let's see, we'll put that piece, we'll put this piece right on top. Okay, and then lastly, I'm going to do a little squeeze of lime, just the little cap off the end of the lime. I love doing it like this because it's like you squeeze it and you're done. Put a little bit of that right on top. Wow, this is my little carb Mexican style frittata. I'm actually gonna taste this. I can't resist. All right, I'm gonna go in, take a little piece of the avocado. Oh my goodness, this is so good. You can see the kale in there. It's still a little bit crispy. It's nice and, everything's so nice and mixed together. So I'm gonna get a little bit of my taco sauce, a little bit of sour cream, bite of avocado. Let's do this. It's not overly eggy, which is exactly how I like it. It's nice and chunky. We've got the sausage in there, the tomatoes, the jalapenos. You'll notice there's a little bit of heat from them, not a lot, because they are the tamed ones, the jarred ones. Creamy avocado, creamy sour cream. I mean, it really doesn't get better than this. There you go, people. I'm going to dive in for some more if you don't mind. If you want to find this recipe or any other recipes from Little Pizza Heart, go to my blog. You should go to my blog just for this one at least. You need to make this for breakfast tomorrow. You will not regret it. I'll see you guys next time.